Coach Tony, Risling Podium Performance, and we are back with the next leg day of 6-12-25. Last week on the quad portion, I was only able to get 2 sets, and then right over there, I had to lay down for 5 minutes. So the hope today is to be able to get all 3 sets. So again, it's front squat, 6 reps, 12 reps back squat, and then 25 reps on the lunge walks. That's on each leg. So if you like this type of content, please take a moment now to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below if you got any questions on what I'm doing, or if you're just enjoying watching me suffer. So one of the big benefits to 6-12-25 is that it's great for fat loss while also building muscle and strength all at the same time. I've said a few times, women handle volume better than men, which is why I use this a lot of times with female athletes that need to get in shape quickly while also building strength, because you're hitting all 3 strength qualities kind of at the same time. You're hitting the strength of the 6 reps, you're hitting some hypertrophy work with 12, and you're hitting strength endurance with 25 reps. So, gonna hop into the warm-ups on the front squats. Okay, hopping into a warm-up. So empty bar as always. The first set in the running shoes with the empty bar. This is just feeling things out, brief little pause at the bottom, trying to make it so that keeping everything nice and vertical. Then on the left, in running shoes, on the right, in lifting shoes. You can see the side by side how the difference looks. They look very similar though. Alright, so jumping straight into the workout itself now. The 6 rep front squat. Focusing really hard here on keeping the elbows up. I'm going to keep the actual sound in the background as well, just so you can hear certain things here. I'm cueing in at the top, taking a big breath, and I hold it until I'm on my way up. Really focusing here, keeping the elbows up. I finish the exhalation at the top and take another breath right there. This just helps me cue in. So the last rep, and then up, and then we rack it. So I got rid of the space in between for this video just because it eats up quite a bit of time. Into the 12 back squats. So there's only 15 seconds in between. So keep in mind, it's almost like doing 18 reps of squats in a row. The front squat makes it harder, and then the back squat you can handle the volume. Front squats, you can't do as much volume because the upper back's going to start to give way, and then the elbows will drop and you'll end up dropping the weight. Big thing here, I'm really focusing on trying to keep the chest up as best I can. You're going to notice on, not this rep, but the next rep here, my hips shoot back quite a bit more. That's as I'm hitting the actual maximum fatigue that I can take, and you're going to hear right here how I felt. Holy fuck, this is tough. It's the only way to describe it at that point. It was brutal. And this is just set 1. And then we jump into doing our lunge steps. This is just purely an exercise it's just pain mitigation at this point. The reason I say pain mitigation is both quadriceps are absolutely joked up at this point. It just hurts. Everything's just brutal at this point, and I'm trying my best just to get through each rep. The problem that I'm starting to have at this point is it's almost like cardiovascular. Since how you're working strength endurance at this point, you're getting into your aerobic system quite a bit. And that's what we use to recover. But because I've also hit the lactic system so much, my heart rate is going to start to skyrocket halfway through these lunge steps. And it just gets harder at this point. There's no recovery going on. The muscles just start to scream. That's why this is so effective for fat loss, for building work capacity. Because now the body's no longer efficient at clearing any metabolic byproducts. It's just now suffering. It's just trying to get energy turnover so that you're able to get through each rep. And then as we finish it up right here, we just realize, great, into sets 2 and 3. Left on is set 2, right is set 3. So I tried to line these up the best I could, but you're going to notice pretty quick here things start to go a little awry. Second set, I was still able to keep a little shorter time in between reps. This is what happens when you hit real fatigue. The third set, last week I couldn't even attempt it. This week I was able to attempt it. I was able to get through quite a bit of it. The second set, form-wise, things are pretty good. But right there you can see that that last rep on the third set, I almost had to ditch the bar because form started to break down. And now we just get into the only way to describe it. The second set, okay, it sucks. The third set was just pure suffering.
This is what leg day is going to be like. If you want to actually build your legs so that they can support you, so that they're stronger, they're bigger, you have to suffer a little bit because they take so much volume. Think about it. You stand and you walk on them so much. You go up the stairs and whatnot, but your legs never really change. Here I've got 205 pounds on the bar. It's 45 pounds more than I weigh right now. So I'm having to do that over and over. And as you can see, I start to really fall apart. I'm having to hold on to the bar afterwards on the second set, which I didn't get all the reps. The third set, I redlined the best I could, but right there was when I just couldn't get another one. My legs almost collapsed, and I had to hold the bar so that I didn't face plant. Otherwise, I would have been face down, arse up after those squats. And now we just go walking, lunge walks. Everyone's favorite thing in the world to do, or so I'm trying to tell myself at this point. Now take a look at the speed difference. The second set on the left here, I was moving much faster from the get-go. I started way later overall time-wise compared to the third set, but yet that gap is closed. This is what happens with fatigue. And then also take a look. I'm able to get a little bit deeper on the second set than on the third set. This is what you kind of call when you start to hit mechanical failure. You're starting to no longer be able to keep your form properly throughout. And the actual active range of motion that you have for the exercise really starts to kind of go by the wayside. I couldn't actually bend my knee on the third set any further than I am here. And that's just what happens as you start to, the only way to put it, as you start to fail on an exercise. You're going to get beat up. Lunge walks, everyone that does them knows they just suck. I'm not even adding any extra weight here, and I'm really struggling. The second set, I started way later, finished before. I'm having to take little pauses on the third set because I'm just dying. Okay, so now we get into the first set of the hamstring portion. So right here, something funny kind of happens. Well, I wouldn't really say funny, but see how the left leg just gave out? My calf right there felt like something grabbed it. And there was no ability for me to actually keep any contraction. The only way to describe it, it failed, completely failed right there. That's why I'm taking a look like, okay, is there anything there? But there was nothing structural, no issues. It was just, basically it's a cramp that's going on. It's kind of seizing up. And that is going to be an issue going through the rest of the leg curls as well as the RDLs. So the RDLs, I could only feel my calf really throughout all of that. But the back extensions, the nice thing about those, absolutely no issues. This was just, okay, just go. That's all I'm really focusing on here. But when I'm coming up each time, I look to try to get my hamstring to contract a little bit as well as my glutes. I try to squeeze my glutes together as hard as I can on each rep so that it extends my body, so that from my knee basically through to my shoulders is fully extended. It might not look like it because you see my ass up in the air, but that's what I'm really going for, is to squeeze the glutes to bring everything in line. Then the second and third sets for the leg curls. So if you take a look on the left there, the left leg is kind of still delayed or kind of weak on the eccentric on the lowering portion, whereas on the final set, on the third set, it recovered a little, just enough for me to get through the reps without it seizing up and still having control. So it recovered a little bit, but I could still feel it the entire time. And then going on to the RDLs, you might notice something here as I'm going. If you take a look down around where my knees are, there's a lot of shaking going on. It's not as apparent in the video, but both hamstrings the entire time here, right down through midway through the calf, they're just vibrating. Like, it's the only way I could describe the feeling. They were vibrating, and it was like a little spasm that was still going on in the calf. And then we go back into the back extensions. Again, just really focusing here. If you take a look back at how my feet are positioned, I have them turned out ever so slightly. This just allows for better contraction of the glutes, I personally find, and also I couldn't keep them forward because the calf was just seizing, and it was impossible to keep things lined up. Otherwise, I had to do.
All right, so that's everything for that workout today. Oh, the only way to put it, that was fucking brutal. I'm dying right now. Got 3 sets on the quads. Yeah, the last set I was able to only get 5 reps on the front squat. I would have had to drop the weight, literally just drop it, because I just couldn't keep my elbows up. The back squats, I don't know if I got 10, 11. I know I didn't get 12, but there's no way I was going to get a 12th one. Just that last rep, it felt like my legs were going to just collapse. And the lunge walks, that was just bite down and go. Sometimes that's just what you got to do. Training shouldn't necessarily be easy. It should be hard. It should challenge you. It should push your limits. You should see what you're actually capable of doing. That way you know what you're able to do. That way you're taking your body out of its comfort zone so that it can get better. On the hamstring part, my left calf seized up on the first set of the leg curls. It was a weird feeling. It just felt like something was like grabbing on. And the second and third set, the function returned. I was able to do a little better. But on the RDLs on the third set, I think I got like 8 or 9. And my entire posterior chain just started vibrating. It's the only way to put it, just started vibrating. There's just nothing there. But if you like this type of content today, seeing the struggle, seeing where I actually fail, so that you understand, training is not all just the highlight reels you see online. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below of what you want to learn and what you took away from this, or some of the struggles you've had doing 6-12-25. My post-workout is going to be a scoop of ATV Labs grass-fed whey, actually 2 scoops because it's leg day, a half scoop of their greens and reds whole food mix, as well as 5 grams of creatine monohydrate from Clean Athlete. If you want to get 10% off an order from ATV Labs in both Canada and the US, go to the link in the description below and use code RISLING10 at checkout. That's RISLING at checkout for 10% off in Canada and the US. Now, go give yourself a tough leg workout. Don't wimp out. Legs is going to be the hardest day of the week most likely. That's why I personally try to get it done on Monday. The rest of the week's a little easier. But yeah, go get it. Go chase it. Coach Tony, Risling Podium Performance. Embrace your potential. Fuck, I can't get up to turn that off.